Does Magic the Gathering currently have an allocation problem? Is there an error in the system that's having all of our Fallout orders canceled for fans? But really, there's a lot more going on than just an allocation problem with the products from Wizards of the Coast. There's a whole system in place to prevent that from happening. So what's actually going on with allocation? Why are players having their orders canceled? Well, there's a lot to cover in today's topic. So let's get started. I can only imagine how frustrating it is to have your pre-order canceled by your local LGS, to have everything taken away just when you think you'd made the right move and put down hard-earned cash to make sure the product was there at release date. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here. Thanks again for hanging out with me on the channel today. Thanks for stopping by. And of course, if you enjoyed today's content, if you want to see more of the Moxman, all you gotta do, guys, is hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and of course, you'll get me every single day of the week because we upload new content every day here. Thanks again to all the patrons and YouTube membership members. So let's get down to what's actually going on, because I've heard a lot of this lately. A lot of other channels are starting to cover it, and I did this video a few weeks ago talking about how there was orders starting to be canceled at a lot of small LGSs, particularly for Fallout. No, not Murders at Karlov Manor. We're not talking about that today. Although it's kind of funny, it's kind of an aside conversation. But we are talking about a premium product, which is Fallout. This product is actually not going to be in short supply. That's the easiest way I can tell you guys this. It right now appears that the allocation is being cut, and not by distribution. It just seems like it's hard to get for everybody, because I'm hearing it store and store and store. Everyone who contacts me, I hear it time and time again from each of these LGSs that, yeah, their allocation's not going to be as big as they thought it was going to be. They're going to have less, so they've had to cut some of the last people in. Not the first people who pre-ordered, but the people at the end of the line who ordered a little bit later. But not only that, some of you guys have noticed, and you've emailed me, but yes, I've noticed too, that some of the prices for the Fallout collector boxes are starting to uptick in price. And when we're talking about allocation problems with the product, I'm not talking about the commander decks. I am specifically talking about the collector boxes. And if you guys remember an analogy I gave you guys probably about 3 weeks ago, and that was the popcorn analogy. Wizards doesn't want you buying the okay product. They want you to spend as much money as possible. So when you look at it and you say which one's the most expensive, that is the collector boxes. There's no MSRP, so as stores who have got larger allocations coming, they've started to jack up the price. They are raising their personal MSRP to you, the consumer, to make sure that nobody goes around buying it out or hoarding it. And for every so many they sell, they will raise the price another tick. And if they sell a little bit more, they raise it up again. It's like their own internal clock, making sure that they don't sell out. But let's get back to allocation and what's happening. Because when you look at the stores and what they're dealing with, this didn't come from them. Yes, they probably over pre-sold, which means they said, hey, I'll probably get the 15 I'm looking for. I got 15 cases, I can sell like 80 boxes. And then they sell the 80 boxes, they think, oh great, I'm sold out. Then they hear from the distributor they're only getting 50 boxes. And they got to cut 30 people. That's the basics. And that hasn't happened in a very long time. There is a system in place that stops this from happening, and that is the internal Wizards clock that tracks the sales from product to product. They've used it successfully over the years, but there are glitches in the system. There are mistakes that can happen, and that apparently is what's happening right now. Allow me to explain. In the backdrop here, you guys will see I have all these kinds of, oh, don't spill any cards, all kinds of boxes here. But specifically, let's take a look at Zendikar Rising. That's Battle for Zendikar. Zendikar Rising. What was I thinking? That was not underprinted. These boxes, the bundle packs, were in very short supply because the last consecutive set and the consecutive set before that one and the set before that all did very poorly on the bundle packs. And every time they see a set come along that has a poor sales rate, they don't want it sitting on the warehouse, so they cut that supply a little bit, maybe 10%. They cut the next one 10%. Oh, we still have too much on the shelves. They cut it again 10% until this happened. which is what we had to deal with Battle for Zendikar, where there wasn't enough to go around. People did go from store to store hoarding it because they wanted those full art lands at the time. Not very special anymore. But that's what they drove through, is that you never know what's going to happen when the allocation has an error in the system. Collector boxes haven't been selling well for a while. Yeah, there's individual sets that have done okay, but as the consecutive sets start to stack up on store shelves, and as they get reports back from distribution, nobody's asking for reorder. After distribution contacts the stores and say, do you want more of these collector boxes? The stores say, no, I've got it sitting on a shelf. I don't want any more. It goes back. The information builds. And Wizards of the Coast, hearing all that news, cuts the allocation. They say, we're not making as much. This is supply and demand. We are not going to have this sitting on the shelf. We've got to drive some value into these products. So they cut the actual print run, which tightens up what's available for allocation. And then when you have a product that seems to be really like something players want to get their hands on, at least initially, you have a run on the product. FOMO takes over. It doesn't matter if it makes sense to you at home. It matters that you understand the concept. The fear of missing out is a great driving force. When you have friends of friends talking about it, and even my own play group is discussing that they had their orders canceled and they had to go to a bigger LGS to get that product. They can't support their little guy because the smaller store doesn't have enough to go around. They said, fine, we'll go to a bigger store and get it, but they did pay about $25 more per box. They're paying the freight on the fact that they didn't have the opportunity to buy it soon enough. Fair enough. So now, with allocation being cut, probably because of consecutive sales losses on collector boxes, Wizards has tightened things up maybe a little too much. Or have they? Because here's the second flip side of that coin. Yes, the system can have an internal glitch. It did so in the past. Readily available information you can look up anywhere on the web to find out what went wrong with the Battle for Zendikar, okay? But now when you go forward and you see these collector boxes and you say, okay, Moxman's argument kind of makes sense. They had a mistake because the other boxes haven't been selling well year over year. Double, triple flip masters didn't do well. We had set after set that had an initial excitement and then a die down and then it's sitting on the shelf. And I mean everything, even including and up to Doctor Who. Those are Universes Beyond products that are sitting on the shelves and are very inexpensive. Commander Masters, anybody? The collector boxes, cheap and available at your local LGS if they're a big enough store to have enough product. Guys, it's sitting everywhere. And this product, Fallout, will be no different. If you think Warhammer 40K was super hard to get, and then you realize I can still get them at my local Walmart. They're still sitting on the shelves right now. That tells you what went wrong with the system is they didn't release it all. And that's the flip side. They choke off the allocation saying, we don't have any for you. Sorry, this is all we're giving you. And then they come in as the saving grace about 12 weeks from now and say, look, we found some more at the warehouse. We can ship some more out for anybody who's looking for it. And then stores can say, hey, do you still want those boxes? Because we have some more coming in. And before you know it, everyone gets the boxes they wanted. But I still believe that if you wait long enough, you'll be the one to save money on the discounted price that comes later in the year when nobody wants it and the money's moving on. How bad do you have to have Fallout products right now? How bad is your desire to be the first in line, the first to experience it? Or can you wait for it to go to the DVD version where it's just on the backdrop? Yeah, you get to have it. Now you can play with it. Because that's really what this is all about nowadays. It is the hype in the market, the desire to be first, just like a new pair of shoes, just like all kinds of new fancy clothing. Depending on where you are, you may be falling prey to this, and you may want to. You may love the rush of being the first to do something. There's nothing wrong with that. I know lots of people who love that ability to do it. But at the same time, if you're one of those players who falls prey to it and doesn't mean to, then understand those are your two options. Either the allocation is being choked off by Wizards of the Coast only to reappear weeks and weeks from now as more product gets released into the flow, okay? It looks like it's super expensive. Everyone's paying a top dollar. Wizards releases a couple of pallets, and before you know it, nobody has a desire anymore. Nobody's hoarding it. Nobody is speculating on it. It's just available, like Doctor Who. Those are your options. They're kind of scary to think about. But the conversation, the hype that builds when you hear things are getting canceled, feels very real at the moment. It feels very real to the people who actually wanted the product and now can't get it. And now they're getting all agitated. They're doing their slinging on the internet, torching and roasting stores, sending nasty emails saying, "What do you mean my order's been canceled?" This gets the market bubbling, it keeps it churning, and that means players get angry, frustrated, upset, but it also means a lot of players start buying. A lot of players believe there is more rarity and scarcity to these products than there may actually be. And that's for you to decide with the information I've given you today of the two options you have, but either way, it keeps the conversation of Magic alive and going, and that's really the ultimate goal of a company like Wizards of the Coast, like Hasbro. They want to keep that conversation in the forefront. They want to deliver products you're going to buy and have fun with, and then they also want to be the ones to drain as much capital from you to get into your wallet and get as much money as they can before the timer, the buzzer, the fourth quarter ends, and whoever's left holding those boxes are the ones stuck with it, because Wizards of the Coast is not actually at the stage yet where they are going to make sure that these products have value. I think they're working toward it. I think they are purposely making things more scarce. This is one of the trial and error steps they're doing as they scale back. Yes, it looks like a bit of an error in the system. It really could be, or it could be a choke point where they are holding back to make sure the product has an initial, well-received launch. Either way, I can't wait to see the comments about this in the comment section. I know some of you guys are going to be feisty. You're going to be giving me some counter arguments, and you're probably going to bash the Moxman a bit, or there'll be a few of you guys saying, boomstick, I totally agree with you, man, because that's exactly what I think is happening. Either way, we've got to keep this conversation alive here on the channel. Thanks again for stopping by, and of course, I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow for another video. Thanks for stopping by the channel today. Have a great day, everyone. Hey guys, a big shout out and thank you to the fantastic patrons and YouTube membership members of this channel. Because of those patrons, daily uploaded content, research, development, and editing is possible. So thanks again for supporting this YouTube channel. Thanks for showing that support each and every month. I'll see you tomorrow, guys, with another video. Welcome back, guys. You've made it to the end of the video. Because you've made it to the end, put chainsaw in the comment section. That way I know that you're that type of person. You follow through. You meet your goals and your desires. You stand proud and tall, and you show up every day. You're the guy that I could call at 2 a.m. and you would show up at my house ready to rock with whatever problem I have. You're ready to deliver. I can respect that. And because of that, because of this exact situation, I don't think we need to talk about anything else today. I think I understand exactly who you are as a person. I respect that, and I'll see you tomorrow.